Welcome to Table for One. I'm the narrator, and in today's video, I'll be unboxing Perseverance episodes 1 and 2. This is the second printing, and I have the washed miniatures. Let's get rolling. Alright, so I'm all set up to unbox Perseverance episodes 1 and 2. This is the second printing, so this has arrived in September of 2025. The first printing was done on Kickstarter a couple years ago, so the second printing, this was done through GameFound, and this was when episodes 3 and 4 were released, and I have those as well. I'm going to unbox those in a separate video, as well as the Chronicles mode. I've got that, and that'll be its own unboxing as well, just so you can kind of get right to the point if there's something you want to see. But I also expect there's some differences between the first printing and the second printing. I know there was an errata pack when this second printing came out, so you could potentially get that. I don't need it because I have the second printing. It was for those with the first. But I also know that the first printing had some like Kickstarter exclusives. I think it had a dice tray. It had some maybe metal tokens. So I'm not exactly sure what might be in here, but we're gonna find out. So I ordered. This is the standalone. Everything. This is as deluxeified as you can get it. It's got the pre-washed minis. So let's get this thing open and find out what's in here. It's got a couple dings on the box here, but I think it's going to be okay. I sure hope it's going to be okay. So let's set this here. And this actually arrived. I was on vacation, and this arrived the day after I left. The day I flew out, we got an email that like, hey, there's some packages shipping to you, and they delivered the next day, and it was like a week-long vacation. So, and it was a family vacation. So I think everybody I knew with a key to my house was with me out of state. So I had to call up a friend and be like, hey, can you run to my house and grab a bunch of game boxes for me? So they graciously did that. So they weren't sitting on my porch. Let's see what's in here. All right, so that's looking really nice. But yeah, so I spent the plane ride home starting to read the rule books, and man, I am really excited. This is going to be a little bit difficult to get out, it looks like. Let me tip it, just to help it along. All right, there we go. Nothing else in the box. Let's maybe clean this off real quick and get a real look at it. All right, and we probably want to get the shrink wrap off, but this is looking pretty cool. I was having a discussion in the comments of another video where somebody, I think it was Corey, longtime viewer of the channel, was talking to me about themes in games and how theme might influence decisions on whether or not to purchase a game, and kind of what the overall collection looks like. And one thing I didn't mention in that conversation was I do really like dinosaurs. I mean, who doesn't, right? And I don't have any dino games. And for a long time, I thought about maybe getting one of the Dinosaur Island or Dinosaur World. I think there's a few by Pandasaurus. I thought about maybe getting some of those, but I think this is going to do it for me. I think this is going to cover dinosaurs for me because, if you don't know, Perseverance Castaway Chronicles is 4 standalone games called episodes. Episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each one is a standalone game, and you can choose to play them all together with a story arc, or you could just pick any one of the 4 and play it as a regular, medium to heavy Euro game. So pretty cool. So I am really excited to see what's in here. The box is lovely. So yeah, episodes 1 and 2 here. So there's 2 games in this box. For comparison, this seems to be slightly smaller than the Voidfall Galactic box, if I had to guess. It's just a bit smaller than that. Maybe I can go grab that lid for you. Yeah, okay, just for fun, I've got it. Let's do this. Oh man, the cardboard. It's everywhere. So here's the Voidfall Galactic box. So you can see this depth-wise, it's a little bit shorter, although Perseverance is a little bit taller. So I'll flip these to demo that in a moment. What dimension did we not compare? This way. A little bit shorter in that dimension. So which way do we need to go? The depth. Okay, so you can see it is a little bit taller, but not much. So just as a point of comparison, so let's put that away. There's apparently something here on the bottom, so I guess I'm glad I flipped it. Wait, which side's the top now? Which side's this has got to be the top, but the bottom looks very similar. Maybe you can open it either way. Maybe it's episode 1 on one side and 2 on the other, but all the text on the sides of the box is going this way, so I'm going to assume this is the top. I've really made a mess of my tablecloth, though. All right, so this is, I guess, just telling you what's inside this second edition. Oh, deluxe components. Look at that. Painted metal tracker tokens. I do get those. Wonderful. But I don't think the dice tray from the Kickstarter is included. I'm okay with that. I've got dice trays, but it certainly looked like a nice one. But okay, let's... Oh, man, I got issues. All right, let's get this thing open. Let's see what's in the box. I'm really excited for this. I really want to play it. Okay, so we've got... looks like probably a first player token. A bunch of booklets. Oh, and game boards. I don't know if there's I don't think there's any punch outs in there. I think these are player boards and booklets, manuals. And we've got a really nice tray system here. So I believe that each tray is for one player. And this is just kind of how they sort things for shipping. There's probably a bunch of punch outs or something that I'm going to need to separate. And then it'll probably be one tray for each player color. That's just not the way it's set up right now. But I already see some of the minis. These are the walls. So these are in each player color. You can build walls. You can build, I think these are settlements. They're like little tents. They look great. And this is a game I have not thought much about until it showed up, but now I am like super hyped. The glow berries are a little squishy. I'll get back to that later. Some stands for the minis. I think those are for the soldiers because the minis are universal and you just put a colored stand under it. What's next in this box of mysteries? All right, just some sort of separator paper. And now we've got some dinos. All right. So a couple trays of dinos. Let's just marvel at these for a moment. That's interesting. I've never seen, I feel like the whole tray has a little finger hole to be able to, I guess, get it out of the box. I don't remember seeing something like that before. Oh, it's taped. Okay. I was like, this is really hard to get off. Probably the tape. No big deal. It comes right off. So let's take a look at these. So the dinos all have a different color base for each dino type, so that you can kind of tell them apart when looking from above if you're not going to paint them, which I don't intend to paint them. That's why I got the pre-wash, so they look really, really nice. Great detail. I mean, they're kind of gray, as you would expect, but for a dinosaur, like realistically, that's not a bad color. So these, I want to say, are called flatheads. I don't remember. They were not real dinosaur names or real dinosaur types as far as I know. But I think these are only used in episode 2, and I've mostly focused on learning episode 1 so far. We've got soldiers here. So these are the light soldiers and the heavy soldiers, I would think, based off the 2 different colors. And then what do we have in this one? Looks to me like these are probably tramplers and raptors. I guess raptors are real. Oh, these are shield heads, not flat heads. Shield heads, that's what it was. I don't know if it was obvious either. There's a couple different sculpts of each of these, so that's pretty cool. I think there's 2 sculpts of each dino. I think of 2 sculpts for light soldiers, 2 sculpts for heavy soldiers. Let's see. So here's, I think, a raptor. I'm not 100% certain. Doesn't really look like a raptor to me. But I think those are raptors, and these are probably tramplers. Man, these came out great. I'm really pleased with these. I am not somebody who really cares about minis very much, but dinosaur minis are pretty cool. And knowing that I'm not going to paint them, like I'm glad I got this pre-wash. There's like really good contrast on these. I think they look great. Super happy with that. Okay, how about the soldiers? We'll take a quick look at them. Less interested. Those are just people. It's the dinos. This game's all about the dinos. This guy's got like some sort of harpoon or something. That's pretty cool. These all the same sculpt. I'm pretty sure there's another sculpt, but it's probably somewhere else in the bag. Yeah, these are all the same. And let me take a quick, more detailed look at one of these myself. Yeah, those look really excellent too. And I appreciate that the pre-wash is in different colors. Just so I can tell things apart. So like the dinos are gray, but these light soldiers are like a tan. The heavy soldiers are like a dark gray, maybe even a hint of blue or green in there. I'm not going to worry about getting that back in the packaging right now. I'll just set that over here. Let's admire something else. So what comes next? But it's more dinos. Oh, no, it might not actually need to be more dinos. This seems like a lot, but this is something. These are, dual layer cardboard player boards. So here's the 4 players. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's a neat trick. Okay, so these are double-sided. There's an A side and a B side. And I think the B side is asymmetrical. They have the special abilities, potentially different starting resources. I think these are the standard starting resources, and this person, see, there's a plus, and they get another, that's a food. They get an extra food. What about on this side? These are all standard. And then you can see here there's nothing. It's just the artwork. But on the other side, some sort of asymmetrical player ability. And so the symmetrical sides are flat, and the asymmetrical sides are dual layer for these tracks here. It's pretty slick. Because people are mostly going to play on these asymmetrical sides. There's a little tray here. Here are the 4, these are you're playing as leaders. These are the 4 leader minis for episodes 1 and 2. Oh, yeah, that was taped down as well. There we go. Whoopsie. The thing about tape is it's sticky. So these are the bases for the 4 leaders, the influence cubes, and the 4 player colors. I don't know. Oh, these are for making dials. We're going to be making some dials. These are minis of, I want to say outposts, but that could be wrong. Watchtowers. It's something from episode 2. I haven't gotten far enough into episode 2 yet. More dial pieces. Let's put this away. We'll get to the assembly of the dials later. As usual, I'm just kind of running through this stuff quickly, and then I'll sort through it in a more detailed fashion and give you my thoughts at the end. I think these are leader minis for the other episode. I think this is for episode 2 and this is for episode 1. That's my guess. This nice painted, I want to say temple. This piece is fully painted. Hold it here so you can kind of see it against the background. Really nice. Like really excellent. Top quality on all this stuff. Here are the player colored dice. The neutral dice. A bunch of special ones. There's a trap die, a couple dino dies. I forget what all this stuff is. I think this is called a rally marker. I'm not 100% certain. off the top of my head. Let's see what else we've got. There's more. Man, there's a good amount more. How do I get this one out? Right there. I can't actually see into the box from where I'm sitting, so I gotta look down on the monitor. Oh, here we go. All right, these, I don't know what these things are. These things are definitely raptors. These are raptors. Wow. They, like, the tails, like all the it's so small and like thin and delicate, and they did like such a great job. There's a lot of detail. It feels really nice. This is very exciting. All right, so if those are raptors, hold on, I'm curious. Are these also... Yes, okay, these are all tramplers. That was not clear to me. This whole box over here is tramplers. It's just the two sculpts of tramplers. I'm kind of dense, I'm sorry. These are the raptors. More light soldiers and heavy soldiers. Probably the other sculpts. Yeah. Different sculpts, okay. And we've got... what is this? I think these are reminder cards for each player. There's a few of them. They're kind of thick. I guess and they're a little bit sizable, and they feel like a nice thicker card stock. I think there's probably 2 per player per episode in there. We've got some cards here. There's probably a variety of types of cards. These are the ones you draw after a patrol, I believe. Oh, these are the dissenters. So this is what I'm going to be using in solo mode. These are the minis for the dissenter leaders. And then yes, oh, here's the patrol cards themselves. And I was not sure if I was going to get metal markers or not. And here they are, painted metal markers. I'm really happy with that. So these go on your tracks here. This is your Valor marker. It's Valor, the other thing that's not Valor, and votes. I think one of these is for 2-part patrols. One of these is for something else. I don't 100% know. Like I said, I haven't learned episode 2 really at all yet. I've only mostly looked at the solo mode. I've read the whole episode 1 rulebook at this point, and I'm just really dying to play it. Hopefully I can play it today. All right. Last, we got, oh boy, we got a lot of punch outs. I didn't want to just tip it because there's so many. We've got, oh boy, a lot of weight, and I didn't want to damage anything. I don't know if that was the smartest way to get them out, but it wasn't the dumbest thing I've ever done, so we got high bar to clear there. All right, here's the punch outs. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. I can't count that. 5 or 6 punch boards. We'll take a look at that a bit later. And our 2 game boards, which are double-sided. There's a 2 to 3 player side and a 4-player side. And interestingly, when you play solo, you are playing a 3-player game. There are 2 dissenters. So that's the episode 1 map and the episode 2 map. And this is, man, I don't have any room for this. Let me clear this off real quick. Okay, there we go. That's better. So let's put the episode 1 map on the table. I am curious to see the size of it. Let's see, and I'll do the 2 to 3 players. Oh, it's just a quad fold. Nice. I thought this was going to be, I mean, it's sizable, don't get me wrong, but it seemed like extra table hog from some of the pictures and videos that I'd already seen. This is manageable. Looks really nice. And so there's like these 4 different camp areas, and then sort of these, well, they're called defense areas, but it's like the wilderness as you get further from the settlement here. The high level story is there is a cruise ship that gets into some wild otherworldly storm and crash lands on some otherworldly uncharted island with dinosaurs on it. And so these there's everybody who survived is like trying to build this new civilization, and I think they're calling their city Perseverance. And you're playing as somebody who's trying to be one of the leaders of this band of survivors. And so like here's this broken cruise ship, and so these different areas you can salvage things from the boat, or you can try and defend against the dinosaurs and go on patrols. So that's kind of what's going on here. So these are like the 4 areas of the encampment, and then these lanes the dinos will like attack at various times and destroy your stuff. So this looks really nice. I mean, it's really gorgeous. The artwork is great. Super excited to check this out. So let's just put this to the side and let me get the episode 2 map. And again, it's a double-sided board. This is the 2 to 3 player side. There is a 4-player side on the back. And this is really neat. Kind of shows the progression of the story level. All right, this is a bigger board. This is maybe more the size I was expecting for this one, but I kind of thought they'd be the same size. Doesn't matter. I'm just I don't have an opinion about it really one way or another. I was just comparing kind of what my opinion was, or what I thought I was getting based off of other videos and pictures versus what's in front of me now. But this is really cool. So episode 2 takes place after episode 1, even though they're both standalone. You can play just 2. You don't have to play 1. They're based on the same mechanical system, but they do have different elements and they'll play differently. But thematically, you can see this whole board is like this area on this board. So you've still got these same 4 lanes, but you've kind of like, time has passed. There's like a big defensive barrier here, so you're not getting attacked by the dinos. So in this one, now you're going out and exploring. And so there's this hex grid out here that you're going to fill out with different tiles, and you're I don't know, doing something out here and exploring. So they play a little bit differently. You're doing slightly different things, but you can see thematically they're tied together. And then episodes 3 and 4 will build on the 2 of these. You'll continue to go out and do more, and your goals will change. And then you can choose to play these with or without carryover effects. So you could play 1, and then the same group of people can play 2. And depending on the outcome of 1, it could adjust the setup of episode 2, and then so forth into 3 and 4. And I intend to do that solo mode many times myself, but at least once on this channel, probably multiple times on the channel. Just play through that whole chronicle multiple times, because I think that's really cool. So here's the 2 maps and what they look like side by side. So I think now is the part of the video where I will slip into time-lapse mode, which is one of my favorite things to do for a number of reasons. One, I just really love organizing new board games. I get a lot of joy out of it, but also I kind of like editing the time-lapse sequence because I think it's fun and I like to watch that. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do here. So stick around, enjoy that, and then after I have organized and sort of wrap my head around all the different pieces, I will talk to you about impressions after I've looked at everything more closely. What do I think? And I'll do I'll let you know if I've got any tips for unboxing or assembling, and then I'll put everything back in the box, and that'll be it for the video. So that's what you're in for. Here we go. So I'm back. That took about an hour, so not too bad. I've got everything organized. It actually went together pretty easily, but there are a couple things I want to point out. And the first thing I want to do is I just want to show you, I saved 1 dial. There are 5 dials, 4 for one for each player, and then 1 for the solo mode you need as well. So they come on this punch board here, and there are 6 punch boards, by the way. And you'll notice one of these dials goes from 0 up to 19. The other goes from 0 to 9, and then 0 to 9. And they are in a specific order here that lines up with the face of the dial here. So let's punch these out. And I'll show you what I mean. We don't need the rest of this. For the most part, everything punched out really easy. There was one particular piece that I had to be careful not to rip. I'll show you that when I get there. But the center of each of these dials we can punch out. And on the face of the dial, there's 2 circles to punch. And 2 sort of rounded rectangles there in the middle. And so you want the one that goes from 0 to 9 twice on the right, and you can double check that by when you place it in the window, the numbers are face up. So we'll use a 7, so we don't get, or how about a 3, so we don't get confused. If we switch it to the other side, you'll notice that the 3 is upside down. There's no way to get a right side up number on that side. So be sure to not mix these up. So it looks like the highest the dials will go is 199. All right, so we've got a couple of these little snaps here. I did have, I think, 2 extra sets. Take the one with the big hole in it and push that through the front. And then we'll take this dial that goes from 0 to 19 and we'll set it on from the other side, and then take the one with the pin and press the pin in on the back. And that goes together really easily. Should be able to slide, but hold your place. And the numbers are, of course, right side up. And now we'll do the same thing on the other side. This is the one with the hole. We push it through the front, take the other dial, place it on top of it, and then take the piece with the pin, press it in, and again, it should easily hold your spot. I believe you start the game with 10. This is to track your followers. I believe you start with 10, so I'll set it to 10, but it easily maintains its numbers. That one is for the character Jack. These are all identical, minus the artwork, but functionally they are the same. So here are the others. So these are the other 3 players. I've been putting everything in alphabetical order. And then this is for acceptance. And this is on the solo mode only. So there's 5 dials, but dials work the same way. So that's how to assemble the dials. And now let's go through these components and how to put everything back in the box. So these 2 trays here are for episode 1 and episode 2 respectively. These are the player boards for episode 1. We kind of looked at these earlier. They're dual layer cardboard on the asymmetrical B side. They're flat on the symmetrical A side. So that sits in the lid of this tray. And I don't know that there's a whole lot to point out here. I guess there's a couple things, but let's see. And this is episode 2 here on the right. One thing that I noticed, and this is super, super minor, but in the booklet that tells you how to put everything away, for episode 1 for this tray, this little like speech bubble token, this is stories. And this circular one with food on it is food, as you might imagine. And they're just mislabeled in the little assembly book. It calls these food, it calls these stories, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So no big deal. A couple things I want to point out component-wise. I really like that stories is a speech bubble, and it is unique double-sided. One side has a picture of 2 raptors, I don't know, out on a plain somewhere by a lake. The other side, it's more mountainous. It has a raptor and a trampler. But just thematically, these people are going out and exploring the island and seeing things, and everything is being shared through stories, through speech. And when I hear the word stories, if I had to make an icon for it, I probably would have made a book or something. But obviously, everything's word of mouth in this survivor colony society. So I just really like that it's a speech bubble. That was clever. These square icons or tokens are scrap. These are the ones that I had a little bit of a tougher time punching out. They came out really easily, but I had to be careful to not tear them. They kind of had a tendency, you'd punch one side and the other side would stick and it might want to rip. So as you're punching these out, be a little bit more careful with these than everything else, but broadly speaking, everything punched out very easily, but these are the ones, if you're going to watch out for anything, it'd be these little squares. And then another thing to point out is, so these are the episode 1 components, these are the episode 2 components. Each tray has 20 stories, 20 stories, 20 scrap, and 20 food. The tokens are different. Now, functionally, if you mix and match, it'll be 100% fine. But I think it's really cool thematically. Like if we look at the food from episode 1, it's stuff that's clearly salvaged off the ship. There's like carrots. There's an open can. This is like a box of cereal. There's another box of some sort. There's an ear of corn, a hamburger. And then in episode 2, like as we spend more time on this island and our rations from the boat run out, like there's still a can here, but some sort of bizarre fruit probably from the island. It's just stuff that they're clearly like growing or foraging for here on the island. And so the scraps change, the stories change to show the different. This one has a shield head on it. So I just think that's a really, really cool, nice thematic touch. And it's really subtle as well. Additionally, what else have we got here? We've got these cards whose names I forget, but after you go on a patrol, I think these are challenge cards. There's light and heavy challenge cards, and they're different for episodes 1 and 2, but they look really similar. What you want to watch out for is the episode 1 cards have like a single arrow hitting a bullseye. That's the icon on this backside. You can't really, I guess it's got that icon on the top, on the front too. But at first glance, they look really similar. The episode 2 ones have these 2 flags, these crossed flags over them. So that is how you tell those apart. What else here? Everything went together pretty easily. It was pretty smooth. These tiles here were a little bit tight to fit in that spot, but not a problem. Just a little tighter than everything else. Has like a little wiggle room you can see. This is all pretty straightforward. The glow berries are a little bit squishy, but not. I was a little scared. I thought they'd have more give or be more hollow than this, and I thought they would, like, I don't know, get sticky or gross or fall apart or whatever. But these feel pretty solid. They're pretty rubbery, and they're nice. They're cool, but they do roll. So be careful. Don't drop them all. They'll go everywhere. I wanted to point out this sculpt in particular. Like, look at, she's got, her arm is out and she's holding some sort of net shooting device or something. I'm not sure, but like, look at how thin and intricate that was. Like, what a difficult sculpt to create, but it's cool. I'm just sort of appreciating that. That seems like really delicate and hard to make. Okay, so these are the episode 1 and 2 components. And I think I've said everything I want to about those. So this is the first thing that's going to go in the box. They're going to go in the bottom layer. There's episode 1 and episode 2. With it's a little bit easier to put it in the box when you can stand up and look into it and you don't have a microphone in your way. So you should be fine. Let's look here at the player components. This was a little bit of a pain to put together, just a little, but it's kind of like an investment because it's going to be so much easier to play now. So I didn't realize when I had first unboxed that all of the soldiers here, you or get assigned to players and like permanently kind of just sit in these player trays. I kind of envisioned all the soldiers sitting in like a well, like over here, and you would take one as you need it and pop your little player thing on it. But that's not true. So there's 8 light soldiers and 8 heavy soldiers per player. Again, there were 2 sculpts of each. So for the light soldiers, I took 4 of one sculpt and 4 of another sculpt and put them in here. And then the heavy soldiers, same thing, 4 of one sculpt, 4 of another sculpt. So I evenly distributed them. You don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want. But that's what I did. Separating out these, man, what is the word for these? I'll think of it. Versus these camps. These camps are used in episode 2. There's 6 camps. And there's 12 of these, I gotta look it up, settlements. These are settlements. They look a little bit similar at first glance, so just be aware that there's 2 different things as you're trying to separate them out. What else have we got here? The walls, the traps, these watchtowers, cubes. Everything was pretty straightforward. It was just the time consuming part was putting the bases on all these figures. But now that it's done, I'm glad it's done. These were not too difficult to get them all to cooperate in here so that I can get the lid on. Also, in this section here, these are all the like painted metal components. There's a couple cardboard pieces, but there is a base stand for your leader because you have a different leader for episode 1 versus episode 2, a different mini. So the stand for that goes in here. It was packaged separately than all the other stands, but I am very confident that it is the same like mold. It's the same. They all use the same stand. I'm sure it's universal, but I did take the ones that were specifically set aside and put them in there for the leaders. But this is the next layer anyway. So that's the player color stuff. So each game, you choose your player color and you choose your leader that you're going to play as. So the leaders and colors are not bound together in the same way as something like Anachrony, for example, where the path of progress is always yellow and the path of salvation is always red. They didn't do that in this game, so you can choose the two things separately. So this tray is some common and miscellaneous components. So this is where the dials go. We've also got these cards that I have not come across yet. Threat level, maybe. It looks like episode 1 on the front and episode 2 on the back. I have not encountered those, but that's where those cards go. These are the two rivals. So you would use these in solo mode. And then all the other solo mode cards are here. So there's episode 1, including these victory conditions, episode 2 with some victory conditions, and these are agendas. So these are the solo components. There's a threat die, and then all the neutral die that are used in both episodes 1 and 2 go here. And then these are the reference sheets. So there is one per player, double-sided, and it has the specific leader on it. So it'll tell you about any asymmetrical abilities you've got. And then there's just 2 of these cards with Dino, Attack, and Breach on one side and Assembly on the other side. So those are for episodes 1 and 2. And we'll put this in here. Next, you can place in this space either the Tramplers or the Raptors. They are the same size. I'm going to put the Raptors because we've got these empty wells you might notice on these. And these, so you can buy episodes 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4. Really, you can buy episode 3 and 4 in 2 different ways. You can get the standalone box, which is what I have. So you open episodes 3 and 4 and can play episodes 3 and 4. Or you can get a different box, which is a little smaller, that you would need to come back into this box and get a few components. They don't duplicate the Raptors and they don't duplicate. There's a lot of duplication of components. And so I've got the standalone boxes so I can open 3 and 4 independently and not need to touch this box. So if you don't have that, I think these wells are used for some of the components that are used in all 4 episodes, just to make things easier. In any case, that's a long way of saying I've got these empty wells and they're just going to stay empty. So I'm going to put the empty well towards the outside. And then these last 2 trays are going to go on top. The rest of the dinos. And then at this point, we can add the player boards for episode 2. So these are much bigger than in episode 1. These are single-sided. The back side is just the artwork. So it's not asymmetrical versus symmetrical. There's only one way to play it, but this is dual layer. These tracks here, there's 3 spaces here that are dual layer, and then all these little squares are dual layer as well, so you can put cubes in them. So that's pretty nice. But yeah, these are pretty big player boards. They look about the size of the Anachrony player boards. Then I've got the episode 2 main board and the episode 1 main board on top of that. And we've got a couple other smaller boards. So this is the solo rival board. It's 2-sided, so episode 1 and episode 2. We've got this Dino Attack Combat Rewards, which is single-sided. There's just an icon on the back, so that can go there. Assembly scoring for episode 1. This is the 2-player side, 3 and 4-player side. It's actually not used at all in solo. And this is for episode 2. This appears to be the same on both sides, but this is the Outpost offer. So those are the other smaller sideboards. And after that, we've just got booklets. So we've got our organizer assembly booklet, our solo rulebook, episode 2 rules, episode 1 rules, and then this just completely thematic little journal here, which is pretty cool. So like from one of the people who is on board this ship, kind of chronicling their life on this island and in the city of Perseverance, and it talks about the various officers and leaders and dinosaurs. So I don't think this is needed at all for gameplay, but it does a lot of world building and it's really cool. So I appreciate that being in there as well. And that is it. So let's get the lid back on. This was the unboxing of the second printing of episodes 1 and 2 of Perseverance, the Castaway Chronicles. So I hope that was useful for you. I hope it's something that makes the second printing clear if you don't have this game and you're trying to compare the printings. I guess one thing I did not mention, what they did for the second printing is compared to the original printing, there are no cardboard replacements for all of the minis. So in the original, you could get either cardboard standees for the soldiers and for the leaders and for the dinos, of course, and I think even for the glowberry resources. Like there's cardboard punch-outs for all that stuff, and you can use standees for all of the relevant components, and then you could also get the minis on top of it. And in the second printing, they did away with all the duplication. So, and I don't think there was even an option. Just everything was minis or deluxeified components, and all the cardboard versions are gone, and I'm okay with that. I don't need both versions. That's just going to be more cardboard that's going to sit on my shelf that I'm never going to use. But if you're trying to compare the first printing to the second printing to potentially future printings, hopefully this gives you some indication of what is in the second edition, which I guess is labeled on the box. That's pretty nice. But I am really excited to get to play these games, particularly episode 1, because that's the one I've started to learn, but I've heard that episode 2 is even better. And then I'm also anxious to unbox episodes 3 and 4 and the Chronicles mode. So I'm going to put all that stuff on the channel, and if you want to see it, be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I would appreciate it if you consider leaving a like on this video. You can share it with somebody else who might enjoy it. You can hype videos now. That's a thing. So maybe leave a hype. I would appreciate that. But most of all, let me know what you think down in the comments, because I'd love to talk to you about Perseverance. So questions, thoughts, opinions, let me know, and I would be happy to engage with you on that. But that's what I've got this time on Table for One. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video.